What's up, my people? In this video, we'll be solving systems, but we're going to be using elimination. In the other videos, we have been solving by graphing and substitution. And this particular one, we're using elimination. So before we jump into elimination, how elimination works is in order to eliminate, we need two things. We need the same coefficient. Oops, I don't want to use a highlighter. JK, we don't need to do that. Same coefficient, but we need it to be different signs. So for example, if we have a positive 3x, we need the other one to be negative 3x. Or if we have a negative 2y, we need it to be a positive 2y, and so on. So we need same coefficient, but different signs, okay? So let's go up here to the very first one. Let's look at it. Now, they're going to start off easy, and then they're going to get a little bit more challenging. All right, so let's look at our variables. And we can change anything we would like, but in this case, I want you to look at the x's. If you notice, it's the same coefficient, meaning that the number in front is the same, so both of those are 1, but one of those is negative, and the other one is already positive. So if that's the case, we can add straight down. Let's go ahead and just add that. So when we do this right here, a positive x and a negative x, that cancels. That goes away. Now we got negative 2y minus 6y is a negative 8y. And then we got negative 11 minus 29 is negative 40. And then when we divide both sides by negative 8, and we got y equals a positive 5. Now that I have y equals positive 5, what you want to do is to go back and plug it into one of the original equations. Don't plug it into anything that you worked out on your own. Plug it into an original equation. And so I'm going to plug this 5 where this y is right there. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this again, but I'm going to do x minus 2. And remember, I'm going to replace that 5 equals negative 11. So that 5 dropped right where that y was at, okay? Now, I got x minus 10 equals negative 11. This is a one-step equation, which means I'm going to add 10 to both sides. You're going to get x is equal to negative 1. So your answer to this is negative 1, comma 5. And if we were to graph these two, they would cross at negative 1, comma 5. Okay? Let's do the next one. Do I see in this equation two numbers that are the same but opposite coefficients? In this particular case, the x has the same number, but the coefficients are not the same. But they were so nice to us and set it up where the 2's and the y's have the same number, but opposite coefficient, which means that these can disappear because when you add straight down, negative 2 and positive 2 are going to cancel. So now I got 6x plus 6x is 12x. And then negative 6 plus 30 is 24. So I'm going to divide both sides by 12. And then you're going to get x equals a positive 2. Now I'm going to take that x, I'm going to plug it into either equation that I like. And let's go ahead and plug it into, let's say, the top one. So that's going to be, let's do this. So I got 6x Oops, I got to substitute that x in. So I'll write it out again. 6x minus 2y equals negative 6. And remember, this x right here really should be that positive 2 that we just solved for. Remember? That goes there. Now let's solve this. This is 12 minus 2y equals negative 6. Now I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Negative 2y equals negative 18, because you do negative 6 minus 12. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Y equals a positive 9. So my final answer is going to be 2, 9. All right. So in these last two examples, they kind of already set it up for us, but that's not going to happen. In all of these, let's see how they'd set up this. OMG, this is one they didn't set it up perfect. But we can try to figure out which ones would be the easiest to cancel. All right. So now in this case, the easiest one to cancel out is to be the y's. And the reason I'm saying that is because since 6 and 6 already goes into 12, that makes things a lot easier. But I need it to be the same number and opposite coefficient. So that means I need to get that 6 to be a negative 12 somehow. And in order to make that happen, I have to multiply this bottom line by negative 2. Because we're trying to get the opposite of negative 12. And the only way for that to happen is to multiply that bottom line by negative 2. So I end up with negative 14x minus 12y equals a positive 6. Don't forget to multiply that last number also. And then since we didn't do anything to that top line, we're going to just leave it the same. Nine x plus 12y equals 9. And then let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to add straight down, which means that these are going to cancel. And then I'm going to do 9 minus 14x. 9 minus 14x is negative 5x. And then 9 plus 6 is 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. X equals negative 3. What am I going to do with that negative 3? I have to plug it back into one of the originals. Let's just erase this for now. I have to plug it back into the original. And which original do you want to plug it into? It really doesn't matter. Let's just do the bottom one just because. So this negative 3 is going to slide right there. So I have 7 times negative 3 plus 6y equals negative 3. Let's do this a different color just because. So 7 times negative 3 is negative 21 plus 6y equals negative 3. I'm going to add 21 to both sides. I got 6y equals negative 3 plus 21 is a positive 18. Divide both sides by 6. Y equals a positive 3. So my answer, my solution is negative 3, positive 3. And then let's just do a quick, this is how you check to make sure your answer works. Your answer has to work for both of them. But because we use the bottom to check, let's plug the negative 3 and positive 3 into the top one and see if it works. So if I put a negative 3 right here and a positive 3 right here, let's see if we end up with 9. Okay, so I got, this is negative 20, negative 27, plus, and then 3 times 12 is 36. That does equal 9. That's how you can tell. That's how you can go back and check. Plug it into the equation that you did not use, and that's how you know you did it right. All right, let's look at number 4 here. Which one is the easiest? Now, I can point out a few things. Let's say you want to eliminate y, because 6 and 10, they both go into 30. But that's not the smartest one to do. In this case, we want to eliminate the x's because it's easier to just multiply this line by -3. When I multiply that line by -3, let's see what happens. That becomes a positive 15x. And then I got to do -3 times -6 is a positive 18y. And I can do that -3 times -15. That's going to be a positive 45. And because we didn't do anything to the bottom line, we leave it the same. -15x plus 10y equals -5. And then we're going to add straight down. That's going to go away. I'm going to end up with, oops, I put the wrong sign right here. JK, LOL. That's going to go there. 18y minus 10y is 8y. 45 minus 5 is 40. Divide both sides by 8. Y equals 5. And then I could choose which equation I want to plug it back into. I'm going to plug it back into the top one. That one just seems a little bit easier to me because the numbers are smaller, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to plug this y that we just got right here. That y, I'm going to plug that y right in that spot. So -5x minus 6. And here's that y I was talking about. And let's see what happens. I got -5x minus 30 equals -15. I'm going to add 30. -5x equals -15 plus 30 is a positive 15. Divide both sides by -5. X equals -3 in this case. So my solution is going to be -3, comma, +5. In the form of a point, yes, you need the parentheses, or else it's not a point. Let's do this one. We got 3 more. Now, for number 5, we have a slight situation. 5 doesn't go into nothing with 6 evenly. 3 doesn't slide into 10 evenly. On the last 2 examples, you only had to do something to one line. This case, we're going to have to do something to 2 lines. Okay? So depending on what I want to get rid of will determine what I do to each line. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to, when I eliminate, let's say the y. Let's go ahead and eliminate y. And then I'm going to do the same exact question again, and I'm going to eliminate x, depending on what do you figure out that you want to eliminate. Okay? So, and if you think you got it, pause the video before I do it and try it and see if you did it right. All right, so first thing first, I want to eliminate, let's eliminate x's first. So I need to figure out a number that 5 and 6 go into evenly so I can get them to be the same coefficient, but I need them to cancel. And in this case, that number is 30. Now, there are other numbers that are bigger, but 30 is the smallest one that we can use. So in order for, now I'm going to pretend this isn't here. In order for me to get, actually, no, I'm going to not do that. In order for me to get, I need one of those to be a positive 30, and I need the other one to be a negative 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this top line by -6, and I'm going to end up multiplying this bottom line by a positive 5. Let's see what happens when I do that. So let's do that top one in red. All right, -6 times 5 is -30x. -6 times 3y is a -18y. And then I got -6 times a positive 6 is a -36. Okay? And then the next one, I'm going to do 5 times 6 is a positive 30x. I'm going to do that a little bit neater. Positive 30x. 5 times 10y is 50y. And then 5 times -2 is, 5 times -12 is -60. Okay? So now we got to figure out, let's go ahead and finish. Let's do this. What is -18 plus 50? -18 plus 50 is, hold on, I'm coming. My brain is hurting. All right, so -18 plus 50 is 32. And then I got -36 plus 60 is 96. -96, of course. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 32. Ooh, and you get that your y is equal to 3, -3. Now I got to plug that y back into one of the equations, whatever one is the easiest. And that top one is probably the easiest. I'm going to plug it into there. So this -3 is going where this y is. Okay. So I got 5x plus 3 times -3 equals 6. 5x, and then 3 times -3 is -9 equals 6. Add 9 to both sides. 5x equals 15. Divide both sides by 5. X equals 3. So my answer to this one is x is +3, y is -3. Okay, 2 more. Oh, over there. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, we got to figure this one out. So I need them to both have the same number. The only number I could think of is 90 off the top of my head. So we're going to do 90. And we're going to cancel out this one we did the y's. No, we cancel out the x's first. Over here, let's go ahead and cancel out the y's. So in order to cancel out the y's, oh, hold on, wait a minute. No, that's fine. In order to cancel out the y's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this top line by 10. And I'm going to multiply that bottom line by -9. Now, I will say that it doesn't matter which one you give the negative as long as one of them gets the negative. Okay? So I'm going to multiply this bottom one first since I already have it in purple. -9 times 10 is -90x. And then -9 times that positive 10 is -90y. And then that -9 times that positive 10 equals a positive 90. And then we're going to do the top in red. 10 times 9x is 90x. 10 times 9y is 90y. And then 10 times -9 is -90. Okay? We got to add straight down. That's interesting. -90 and positive 90, that'll cancel. And that cancels. And that cancels. That really means 0 equals 0. When you have a number that equals itself, it's all real numbers. Beautiful. Okay? And then let's do this one. And then I'm actually going to come back to this one right here in the event that you wanted to cancel out the x's. You didn't have to cancel out the y's, but I'll show you that you can get the same answer. Actually, let's go ahead and do it right now while it's on the top of my head. So now this time what we're going to do, we're going to do the same equations. And the first time up here, I cancel out x's first. So for this example, I'm going to cancel out y's first. And so to make that happen, I need the same coefficient, opposite signs. So in this case, it looks like 30 is going to be the best one. One of them has to be negative. One of them has to be positive. So I'm going to multiply this top one by -10, and I'm going to multiply the bottom one by +3. Doing that will make this happen. 18x plus 30y equals -36. And then I'm going to multiply the top line. 10 times 5x is -50x. And then -10 times -3 is -30y. And then -10 times 6 is -60. Add straight down, those cancel out. -50 plus 18 is a -32. And then -60 plus -36 is a -96. I'm going to divide both sides by -32. And then you'll get that x equals +3. You take that +3, plug it back in, and voila, you'll end up getting the same numbers that you got right above, okay? So that's all I want to show you on that one. Let's do this last one, and then we're done with this video. All right, so, oh my goodness. So now I got to figure out a number, and these numbers are going to be slightly bigger. So I got to figure out a number that I can cancel out, and because the x's look smaller, and I know I can get to 15 really easy with those, that's where I'm going to start to make my life a little bit more simple. Okay, so again, I need one of them to be positive and I need one of them to be negative. And since one of them already has negative, let's take the top line. And again, it's all up to you how you want to do this. Let's take this top line and multiply it times 3. And let's take this bottom line and multiply it times -5. And remember, I have to do that -5 part because I need the opposite signs. So -5 times -3 is +15x. And then 24 times 5 is -120. That 2 doesn't look good. -120y. And then -5 times -5 times +3 is -15. Okay, now I got 3 times -5 is a positive. Sorry, 3 times -5 is -15. So let's go back and do that one. 3 times 40 is a +120. And then 3 times 13 is 39. This is interesting because these cancel. These cancel. When everything cancels, that equals 0. And then 39 minus 15 is 24. When does 0 equal 24? Never. In other words, no solution. If I went too fast in this video, go ahead and rewind it. And you can pause and take notes as you go. If you have any further questions, I'll see you in class. Talk to you soon.